Hi, everybody. I'm just going to give about 30 seconds for other folks to trickle in. All right. Welcome, everyone, and thank you for joining us today. We're glad to have you with us for Modernizing the Guest Experience, Digital Menu Boards for Today's Restaurant Operators, presented in partnership with Global Payments. So before we get started, just a few quick housekeeping notes. Today's session is actually being recorded, and a link to the recording and any related resources will be shared with all folks who registered following the webinar. Along with that as well, contact information for all of the presenters here at Global Payment. We'll also have time for Q&A throughout and at the end of the session, so please use the Q&A box at any point during the presentation. We have a full team standing by to help answer. We'll also be launching a quick poll at the beginning of the session, kicked off by our speaker. We encourage you to participate as your input helps us better understand operators' needs and informs future programming as well. So with that, I'm excited to introduce today's speaker, Danielle Valencia, Director of Sales Engineering at Global Payments. Danielle will walk us through how digital menu boards are being used today to improve clarity at the point of order, support upselling, and reduce operational friction, and all with a focus on practical application for both single and multi-unit operators. So with that, I'll turn it over to Danielle.
Great. Thank you so much. Very excited to be here today. Thank you for having us. Let's dive right into some questions to kick us off. So you should be seeing a poll pop up on your end. I'm just going to roll through some of these questions that we would like to know more about. So do you currently use menu boards, digital menu boards in your restaurant today? So we have a multiple choice option there. Yes, no, planning too soon, or unsure. Next question. How many locations does your business operate today? So are you a single unit between 2 and 5 locations, 6 and 19, or are you over 20 locations? Next question. And what's your biggest challenge with your current menu setup today? So is it updating items and prices, promoting specials, managing your availability, or is there any guest confusion on your menus or long lines, people waiting in line to place an order? Next question. How often do you change your menu or items or pricing? So are you updating menus on a daily, weekly, monthly, or rarely updating your menu? And which outcome matters most to you? So are you looking to have a higher average ticket, faster throughput, push your more consistent branding and brand awareness, easier operations, or less waste and improved availability? All right. Perfect. Well, thank you so much for everyone who participated in answering those. We'll look forward to learning more about your businesses. So to kick us off right here, this right now, what I'm showing here on the screen, you all have probably seen this out about in the wild, where these are some common menu boards in a restaurant space today. They could be in some of your own establishments or in others that you have seen. These do the trick, right? They communicate your menu to your customers. But there is some significant challenges when we look at the boards here on the screen. So if you look closely at some of these images, you'll notice some of them have post-it notes on it. There's paper over some of the menu items or the prices. The boards can easily become out of date. So anytime you change a price or add a new menu item to your menu, or you want to offer a special that's not on your regular menu, there's a lot of rework that needs to happen when you have a board that's set up like this, and sometimes almost impossible to add it. And so you may just have to leave it off, altogether. Not really a great customer experience for people that are coming into your restaurants and ordering. Some of these boards are quite cluttered. They may be hard to read. And there is an expense if we're thinking about constantly reprinting menus or the labor to update these menu boards. There is an expense associated with it, as well as relying on somebody, at the store to be able to handle this. So let's take a look at what we're going to talk about today on the next slide, which is our modern digital menu boards. So modern digital menu boards really signal to your customers that your restaurant is modern and up to date, right? You have the latest and greatest technology. And it also allows you to engage with your customers and improve your customer experience through a few different things. So for instance, with digital menu boards, like you can see here pictured on the screen, it doesn't have to just be static content. So that content can be dynamic. It can change based on the day, right? If you have different menus for different days, maybe you're offering breakfast or brunch on Sundays and regular menu during the week. It can change by time of day or by seasons if you're offering things in the summer that you don't offer in the winter. The digital menu board dynamic content allows you to be flexible and change your menus. You can also have multiple layers of content on the screens that the screens can be cycling through. So if you have a larger menu, you're not going to be able to fit it all on a chalkboard, but with a digital menu board, you can showcase that when you're cycling through all of the different items that you have. It also gives you the ability to highlight promotions. So as you can see there on the screen, we've got a summer breeze salad. So if that is something that you're wanting to promote and push and sell within your establishment, you can have an entire board that's just dedicated to showcase some of your promotions or seasonal offers. We know that images and videos grab attention more than printed menus, and they help customers decide on items visually. People like to see what they're going to eat, what it looks like before they order it. Um, and finally, upselling, right? So when it matters most, when customers are sitting there deciding on what they're going to order before they even get to the register, this is the perfect opportunity to promote high margin items or add-ons. So things like, French fries, drinks, any type of side items. This is going to be the perfect time to promote those items. So diving a little further into it, why are restaurants making the transition, or why should you consider making the transition? So a few things I want to touch on here. One is revenue growth. We know that from studies that we've researched, digital menus drive about 10 to 20% higher ticket averages. So if you're looking to increase revenue, have higher ticket averages, digital menu boards are a great way to do that. And the use of upselling, highlighting your promotions, and specials are a great way to do that. We know that digital menu boards improve consumer satisfaction. People like to see what they're buying. There's even a study that shows if you have digital menu boards and people are waiting in line, if they have a digital menu board to look at, to see your items and to read the menu, they actually perceive that their wait time is much less. So people don't mind waiting in line. So if you're a busy establishment, you get hit with the lunch rush or dinner rush, you have people lined up. This is a great way to help them perceive that maybe their wait time is not as long as they think it is. Operational efficiency is very important. Time is money, and we need to eliminate any manual work, right? So save the cost of printing and manual updates that traditional boards require, and take everything digitally so that pricing can automatically update, availability, menu changes can happen, all automatic and sometimes even synced, with the point of sale. And then give yourself a competitive advantage. You want to stand out, right? You want to look more modern than the restaurant next door. The digital menu board solution will help you be able to react faster to be able to showcase any type of price changes or menu updates and really push what you want to sell. Next slide. So what we can see here on my screen, this is not a new product. I'm talking about our Genius digital menu boards that we offer at Global Payments. But it's not a new product. Been around for a lot of years, over 10 plus years in some of these enterprise brands here that you can see on the screen, which may be recognizable to you. We've installed over 24,000 rooftops in about 45,000 displays, in over 21 countries. Some of the brands that we have supported, which you may recognize here on the slide, I bet if you closed your eyes, you could probably picture the colors because this is black and white. But I bet if you closed your eyes, you could probably picture the colors of some of these logos, right? You know what colors they have. You can maybe even picture a commercial that you've seen on television. You might remember even what some of their items look like. I know personally when I see the Cinnabon logo, I'm automatically thinking about a cinnamon bun. It takes me back to when I used to get them at the mall when I was a kid. And so I can sort of picture, I can, remember the food. And that's, brand recognition. And so storytelling is key for some of these larger brands. And digital menu boards really help tell your story. So, in addition to showcasing your menu, you're going to allow your customers to see your logo. They're going to be able to see your colors, even your fonts and food images. You can host videos and advertisements on your board. And this is really going to help your customers know who you are, help them understand your restaurant, your vibe, your personality, and help you push your brand awareness, whether you're a small brand or a large brand. Not only do digital menu boards help reinforce your brand, which is super important, but going digital, especially if you're a multi-location operator, allows you as an operator to have a centralized control of your menu boards. All of our menu boards can be managed remotely through the cloud, and you can push changes down to the store level, like items and pricing from one portal. So it allows you to have a consistency across your locations. Every location can show the same board. Next slide. So question here, why is adoption in lower in the casual restaurant market? So why does not every restaurant, have these digital menu boards installed? We've talked about some positives of why you should and how it can improve your business. So why is it not happening everywhere, right? We've found a few, from our vantage point, we've seen a few different things here that could be, reasons why they haven't been implemented. One is the overall hardware costs, right? So the cost of the equipment, potentially the installation, you're going to need support on the product, maybe a warranty. That can be a concern. Content management challenges. So what type of tools are you using to manage and deploy your content, to create your content? Maybe you don't have any content. So how do we get started? And how do we get, these boards created? Maybe it's not a cloud-based software, so it's going to require you to be on site to make a lot of these changes, and potentially a lack of a POS integration. So now we're talking about adding another, product to the mix where you're going to have to worry about updating specials and prices in more than one area. So we see these as three like significant challenges, for businesses today. And what we've done, if we go to the next slide here, is we've tried to solve for those challenges. So with Genius Digital Menu Boards, we do offer a complete hardware and software solution. We leverage global payments purchasing power with our existing partner LG to provide LG displays that also come with options for installation, support, and warranty. Only the displays are needed, so we're not, putting any additional equipment that needs to be installed in the restaurant. So it's just the displays. So we try to make it easy to rent the hardware, to have it installed without any friction, and to be able to have it replaced if something was to happen. We also offer content management. So we have an easy to use cloud-based platform that allows you to upload or create content within our WYSIWYG editor and then remotely deploy that to your displays. So if you have existing content, you could use that, or you can even create content in programs like Canva or others, and have that uploaded and deployed to the displays. And then also a POS integration. So I will mention the digital menu boards could be used standalone, but they also integrate with our Genius point of sale, which helps it make it a little bit easier for you where POS prices are in sync with your boards. If you change a price on the POS, that can be directly published and updated to your digital menu boards. So one place to update all of your prices, your specials, and you don't have to worry about doing it in multiple areas. So, ideal merchant, for an ideal operator for digital menu board solution, I think all of us probably think, I know, for myself, I automatically think, counter service, quick service, fast casual, great options. But really, would argue here, and as you can see on the screen, there are a wide range of service types that we really think would be a good fit for digital menu boards. 91% of restaurant owners actually say they see an increase in sales after installing digital menu boards. So we really think it's a helpful tool that can be used in a lot of different environments. So great fit, like I said, for fast casual, counter service. You can really get creative with placement. The displays can be hung horizontal or vertical. I know my favorite restaurant here, they have them vertical and they have them lined up so that when you're progressing through the line, getting ready to place your order, you're able to see the menu on the right-hand side. And as you're progressing in line, continue to read from it and make your additional choices. I probably order more things because as I'm reading, I find more things that sound really good and I'm getting hungrier. So as I progress through the line, I'm ordering more, which is very important. But not just for fast casual and counter, like I said, there's lots of opportunities to use boards in other service types. So if you're a table service restaurant, if you have a brewery, if you have some type of an entertainment venue, these are great opportunities for you to install a digital board. All of your beers can be displayed on these boards instead of having to manually, change seasonal beer selections. Entertainment venues, I know I see these everywhere now, where there may be, bowling or golf, but also a food aspect. This is a great way to promote what you have in the food section of your business, where there may be some, other entertainment or hangout spots within the restaurant. So lots of opportunity depending on the look and feel of your restaurant to have a digital presence, not only online, but also in store as well. So lots of benefits that I've mentioned so far, but I did want to just quickly break out what are the components. So you may be interested in the solution, but what really are like the main components that you need to successfully deploy a digital menu board in your establishment? And there's really four main components. We have the displays, which are the LG TVs that I mentioned. We have a remote LG device management, which is basically like an MDM that helps us remotely deploy to the TVs, potential digital menu board integration with POS, and then content management and deployment software. So we'll just quickly recap these four components here, starting with the displays. So LG displays, this is a system on chip device that allows us to remotely deploy our digital menu board app to the TVs in order to display content. So this means that there's no additional controller needed. So we don't need a USB stick. We don't need a controller. Everything is run just from the display itself. We do offer available sizes for 43 all the way to 55-inch for indoor displays. And these displays can be connected via Wi-Fi that you have existing in your establishment or preferred connection via Ethernet to if you're going to do any type of like coordinated content that needs to roll across all the displays. We always suggest, having that hardwired so that you get the best connection to continuously run the content across all of your screens, but really can be done either way. I mentioned remote device management. This is really important because it does three main things. It allows you to install the DMB app, like I mentioned, via a share code, so very simple to deploy. If you're going to make any changes or deploy new designs, our MDM solution will allow you to do that. So you don't have to switch out a stick. You don't have to be on site. All of this can be done remotely through a remote device management tool. It also allows you to have support into your devices. So if you have multiple stores, you want to know that all of your displays are online all the time, so that your customers are able to see the content and see your menus. And through our MDM tool, you're able to see all of the devices and verify that they're online and showing content. And then content. Content's obviously a big part of your digital menu boards. So when you're creating designs, think about reusing assets that you already have. I would probably argue that most people have some assets. You may have a logo, you may have food images, you might have an online presence already, like an online ordering website or social media. Use assets that you already have and create a brand library so that you can use those assets across all of your platforms. The image you see on the screen there, that's an image that you might use to display on your website that could be reused to display on a digital menu board. So think about reusing things that you may already have existing. If no designs exist, one of the things that we provide with our digital menu boards is templates. So you don't have to start from scratch. If you're a brand new establishment, if you're just getting started, you want to launch digital menu boards, you can launch them with confidence, knowing that we have pre-designed templates. We have things so that you don't have to, be a designer and create something from scratch. You can sort of plug in your info into something that's already there. And any type of content and tech always comes with good support, right? So you don't want to be alone after the install. With our digital menu board installations, we lean on our local dealer channel or our internal design team that creates content that's going to be there to help support you with that creation and deployment. Any type of redesigns and refreshes that you may need throughout the lifetime of you using the boards. When you're creating content, I will also say there's two really simple ways to do it, and something you should consider is how often does your menu change? So are you changing it often? I think that was one of our poll questions that we asked. Are you changing it, one time? Are you changing it 6 times a year? Seasonal specials? You can purchase a one-time service that lets you set it and forget it. If your menu is pretty much the same all year round, except for, some yearly price increases, you can essentially create content one time and set it and forget it, or have the option to do an ongoing content subscription. This is going to allow you to have a monthly subscription where you can do major design changes based on, seasonal changes, your menu needing to be flexible and pricing updates. And that will really allow you to, change those boards on a more consistent basis. And that pretty much wraps up the overview of the boards. And I did want to go into now some testimonials to talk about a few of our customers that have installed these. Just to give you an idea, I know we mentioned some big brands on the screen that are using them, but I want to highlight some of our smaller restaurants. If we can go to the next slide here. Hop Creek Pub is in Napa, California, and they are a smaller neighborhood restaurant. Something honestly that I wouldn't even think of, for digital menu boards. They're more of a neighborhood place. They have a really large local following, so a lot of regulars. As you can see there, they did have menu boards, some handwritten, sort of whiteboard type style. Very hard to read, as you can see there with the glare walking into the restaurant. And for some eyes, I think those are extremely hard to read unless you're pretty close to the board to see them. They wanted an easy setup if they were going to deploy digital menu boards, and they wanted someone locally that would help them, create these graphics and install the boards. And we were able to provide that service. So if you go to the next slide here, you can see that the digital menu board really improved their space for this small business. Now, when you walk up to the counter, you have a menu board that's very easy to read. It really cleans up the space. It makes them look more modern. And they actually used two applications. They've got, you can see the three screens there over the countertop device when you walk up to the counter. And then off to the side where they have their kitchen line, they actually installed a vertical display that showcases their desserts and their daily specials. And they didn't really have a place to showcase this. And now as you're walking by the kitchen line to go get your table within the restaurant, you walk by that screen where you get to see desserts and daily specials. And I know I would recognize that. I'm always like excited to see the dessert menu. So that would definitely catch my eye. So they were able to install two different applications for this, one to showcase their menu, and one, on the side there for their desserts. And people immediately noticed. They have a ton of regulars. It definitely caught their eye, and they started to get a lot of compliments on the transformation. They also commented that it is really easy to make quick changes. They are often changing their menu. They do like a lot of different specials every day. And so this is something they needed to be able to have a system that they could go into remotely, make menu updates, and then publish those directly to those boards. Another example of a smaller business here was Chef Temi. This is in the States here, I think in Texas. And they are a brand new restaurant. They are a table service location, so not counter service. So they have a full, you can come in, you can sit down. You could also get food for takeout if you wanted. But they have some unique and very popular Nigerian dishes. And the chef wanted a way to be able to communicate, what are some of those dishes? What do they look like? And give a very detailed description of what comes in them to help educate her customers, basically, and help the menu be more friendly to some of the people that may not be familiar with some of these dishes. And she was just ecstatic about the boards because they really helped her be able to communicate her menu, and her passion for food, and help her educate her customers. So this was a game changer for them in that space. And as you can see there, it kind of helped with that white wall in the background, and it helped decorate their space and jazz it up a bit. Another unique application I'll call out is, we mentioned quick service and fast casual establishments, even table service and breweries. This is actually our corporate cafeteria at one of our corporate offices. They actually have a full setup where employees can come, they can order from kiosk to place their order. They have POS, they have weight scales and scanners. So it's a full self-service area for employees to order for food. They put on specials every day for breakfast, lunch, and dinner. So they needed a way to show their menus and for those menus to change throughout the day to display their different menu content and for employees to be able to walk up, read the digital menu board, and then be able to place their own order. So this is a fully, cashierless environment where there is actually no cashiers. So this kind of, runs on its own where staff can order and see what the specials are from the boards there. So that covers it. If anything here sounded exciting to you, if you are interested in learning more about digital menu boards and how they can improve your business and help you generate more revenue, I would urge you to scan that QR code and fill out our short form there. We'll grab some information and make sure we get in contact with you to tell you more about, what we have to offer for digital menu boards and other, products for your restaurant as well. But we would love to contact you and connect with you through that code. And then, yeah, Jason, you can go to the next one here as well. We can even meet you in person. So if that form isn't enough, if you want to meet us in person, we urge you to come to the Restaurant Canada show. We will be there and we will be displaying our digital menu board solution. So you can visit us at booth 5625. The show is between, I think, March 8th through 10th in Toronto. And we look forward to connecting hopefully with a lot of you operators and talking about, our products and services. So stop by and say hi. We would love to meet you in person. And then I will open it up for any Q&A that we may have. And I think, Jason, you may have some that you wanted to go through.
Yeah, I sure do. I've got a handful of questions I'd love to ask you if you don't mind. One question that we have is about restaurants that have pretty limited inventory of items, and so they 86 a lot for certain menu items, or they have like a lunch price and a dinner price. How does all that work?
Yeah, that's a great question. And I think, digital menu boards, even with a limited menu, would be a great solution. We do have sold out functionality. So as you are, running out of product, which is, common, we run out of items and ingredients, you may need to mark something, sold out on the POS. Which can automatically update and reflect on those digital menu boards, that item is no longer available. And so that's definitely an important way to communicate to people that are waiting in line that, hey, we don't have that product, right? So they're not, making that decision, getting excited about it, going up to the register and ordering it, and then it's not there, right? So being able to update those boards with sold out is very important. And the entire board doesn't have to be used just for menu, right? We call them menu boards, but they're really so much more than that. You can have advertisements, logos, specials. If you're within, you have a good local, community, events and offerings, you can even put that on the board. So there's a lot of different, things that you can highlight. It doesn't have to just be a menu. So you can really get creative with what you want to display on your board, so that it doesn't look empty. If you're only having, a few items, there's a lot of other options there.
Thank you. And you mentioned so animations possible, so you can do sort of like looping pictures or like literally like having things animated like a squirt of a lime sort of
Absolutely. Yes. Like you've seen, like I don't know if they have this in Canada, but Chili's, they do the fajitas and they cook the fajitas on the skillet, and you get to see that. And it's like an experience, very, very similar. If you have any videos of you cooking food, pouring chocolate sauce over something, making a latte, how do you craft up a latte? You can show that on a video. Customers like to see that. If you have any unique items or pairings, if you're doing events that you want to promote, you can really get creative with the content that you're placing on these boards.
Excellent, thank you. And I think there's some concerns by restaurant owners that they simply they're a little overwhelmed by the whole setup of all of this. Who's available to come in to help do things like order all the right hardware and TVs and the install and the software stuff? Is there a network of dealers available?
Yeah, that's a great question. We do have local dealers that provide all of these services. So from helping you order the right equipment, the right even screen size for the amount of items and content that you want to display, installing the boards, physically installing them in your location, and helping you create and manage that content, all can be sourced through our local dealer network. And they offer more solutions than just the digital menu boards as well. So we can definitely get you connected with somebody if that is something that, you're interested in.
Awesome. I think that's all the questions I'm seeing so far. Thank you, Danielle, for answering those.
Of course.
Amazing. Thank you so much, Danielle and Jason. I was writing questions as you were doing your presentation, and then a slide later you would answer it. So I was like, okay, I'll cross that one off. And then Jason, got me at the 86 question as well. I think, having that opportunity to just make sure that inventory is up to date while you're in a busy service on a Friday, Saturday, is definitely something that folks are looking for. Again, thank you on behalf of Restaurants Canada for spending time with us and showing us how to modernize that guest experience. Of course, folks, we have contact information here, but our team will be sending through follow-up email in about 24 to 48 hours with the recording, with this deck, as well as all the contact information so you can touch base with Global Payments. And of course, you can also connect with them at the RC show happening at the International Center March 8th to March 10th. I'll be there as well, and it'll be a great time. So again, thank you everybody, and please enjoy the rest of your day.